I like the 15-minute pullback because it's after every time there's a big pump, there has to come to an end. We get positive volume all the way up, and they normally happen when volume gets above what's called a 20 line, right? So it's like a 21 line right there. When volume starts to peak above the 21, this is where the next 15-minute red moon comes in, and there's this big pullback, right? And it's literally, and you can see every time there's a big pump there. Like this one wasn't that big and it just got exhausted and literally just crashed. But the 15-minute pullback comes in every time. So let me box these out real quick so we can go and take a peek of like what is the big move. So here's a 15-minute. And the thing that is key to this move is that I'm going to make this orange because of the 15. The key to this pullback every time we get a moon is inside of two things, right? So one thing we have here is red moon, red trend. The volume goes negative. We get an entry point. We get a nice move. Red moon, red trend, negative volume. We get that move, right? So that's what's happening. Now, what I want to see is inside of this area, what is the, let's take a look at the 4-hour real quick. And we can see here, we got our 4-hour coming down, crossing over here, and it bounces in there. That'll be red. And then the 4-hour crosses again in this zone here. And now that's where it's actually heading down now. So those are the two areas for that. Take a quick peek at our 2-hour. And we can see the 2 hours headed down on that first move bounce, coming down again right here. The 2-hour starts to come down. And then here, the 2-hour crosses again. So both these moves are basically inside of that 2-hour move. So you get a 2-hour pump here, crosses over there. 2 hours always yellow. 2-hour crosses here. And so far it hasn't crossed back. So now these two moves, so everything's happening the same way, the same thing that we look at. Trading with the trend, right? So when you're trading with the trend, you're always going to run into what you want to see. Now the difference is watching what happens, right? So for instance, this short right here that we're waiting on hasn't really manifested right now because I don't see where we got a pull down here, but we didn't get the push that we want here. So this is slowly dragging, but once we get this switch over to a red trend here, we should get a nice little push. But these 15 minutes pullbacks are happening with the 2-hour coming down, right there the 2-hour comes down, right here the 2-hour comes down, so that's in there, and the 4-hour is on this one, and it's significantly bigger with the 4-hour being there. But even here on a normal pullback until the 4-hour gets there, it still starts to come down and then it becomes a bigger pull. All right, so let's move to our 1-hour and just take a quick peek here. You can see the 1-hour comes in. There's a 1-hour red moon that strikes here, right? And that's kind of where the cross comes in. And then that bounces in this zone here. Let me make that white real quick. And then our 1-hour again comes over and we get a cross in here. Now the thing is about the 1-hour, we get the moon here with the cross, and then it's kind of in this zone here. So now when we see all that kind of like moving, the key that I like to see is like, what can I look at here and say, okay, RSIs all going in our direction, big wins. RSIs going in our direction, big win. So simple to trade with our RSIs all in our direction. You're going to get those big wins every single time. And then as you move across, these are the things that you can see where you can be patient with these wins, but these pullbacks happen every time. So now let's dig into the 15-minute, right? So kind of see where the 15-minute is what we're triggering the entries off of, right? And the key to me is that once the 2-hour, like here's your 15-minute red moon, 2-hour starts to come down, the 1-hour starts to come down, and you have a 15-minute moon with the 15-minute red trend. This is a nice entry point. So for me, this right here is my entry point when all this kind of like flares into position. So that is where I would take a target, right? Second one, as we come across, a little bit different. We don't have a 15-minute trend. Being patient. So 15-minute moon, don't have a trend. Wait, we get a 2-hour coming down, 1-hour coming down. which would normally trigger for me at that point that we would basically, once the 1 hour and the 2 hour are headed down, now I have to find an entry, right? As soon as we get down to this level, we're moving, we bounce, we get a 15-minute red trend. I'm entering somewhere on this candle here, right? So either way, being patient and getting in where we need to get in is kind of the thing, right? So here, we'll take a look at the smallest profit area here. We're able to sneak in a 0.8, 0.77. So we walk off with a small win here. 4 hour comes a little bit later. It's not a fully developed short, but we're going to get our 50% gains. We're always closing in on that 30. So that short comes in, right? Now, could you get in a little bit earlier? Yeah, you can take the chance with your 2 hour, your 1 hour crosses. Then right there, as soon as the 15 minutes, see how the 15-minute right there bounces and then gives up, and both these start to head down? That would give you an entry point more in this section here, and that's where you would basically, if you catch that, then you're looking at your solid 1%, 1.5%. So easy 100% gain. If you're catching this push, you get the 15-minute moon rejection, and then both of them basically RSI starts to come down. There's your main trade. Now, if you're waiting, go through the whole process, get that smaller piece, you're still profitable in that little section right there. Over here, we get a bigger move. Obviously, we take home a bigger paycheck on that one, way bigger. 15-minute RSI pushes up, starts to come down, and we take advantage of that, and we get this massive trade, right? So that's one thing you have to understand is that these trades are good. Yo, what's up? What's good, boss? Rookie. We get these trades that kind of come in, and we're going to get big ones, and then we're going to get our singles, right? So we're going to hit singles and doubles all day. Every once in a while, we're going to crack a grand slam. But that's how you trade, and you just move your stop loss, take your profits. But these trades are paying off every single time when we're following the basic. Red moon, 2 hour, 1 hour with us, red trend, negative value. RSI pumps, then you enter on the move down, right? Same thing over here. 2 hour starts to go down, 1 hour starts to go down, RSI is pumping across, wait for negative volume. Negative volume comes in, 15-minute pumps. You take your entry when it bends, boom, here's your entry, and bada boom, bada bing, at least a 1% trade there. You got to see how that works there? That's where we're digging in. Now, as we come across here, we can see looking at the same thing. So now we get a 15-minute red moon, right? We got our 15-minute here. So let's go and take a look at how we're looking with our 4 hour, right? So currently our 4 hour is headed down. Take a look at our 2 hour. Our 2 hour is coming down. Take a look at our 1 hour. Our 1 hour just kind of cracked down, but it hasn't given up on this move here. So far right now, we're inside of a consolidation move. Go back to our 15-minute. So this just means right now that this entire trade is ready to come back down. What we need here is what? The 15-minute moon. So once we get a 15-minute red moon and the RSI makes its bounce, then we'll be entering a trade here on Ocean for that next 15-minute. Now, the pullbacks are the keys, right? Pullback after a big push, that's the trade we're looking for. After a big push, that's the trade we're looking for. The bigger the push, the bigger the pullback, right? Here, this is where, guys, if you're looking for taking this pullback trade, you don't really have a massive push here to get that pullback trade. So a lot of times Boogie will ask me and say, well, how do I know how far this is going to go, right? Well, sometimes you have to recognize that there isn't any pushes here to get a bigger pull down. So this isn't a 15-minute pullback. So when you start looking at this trade, you got to remember that you don't have a big pull here. So you would take this trade here and go, all right, this is a complete different trade. I need to go back to my 2 hour short here because that 15-minute pullback doesn't apply there. So now what we need is 2 hour moon, 2 hour trend, 2 hour volume. So we're almost there. So we're getting to that point where we're looking for that particular trade. Now, during that, this trade can turn into a 1 hour moon and a run. So that's where we're at there. So it's a no man's land. That's the difference in finding that. 15-minute pullback trades happen after a push. That's when you would take that trade. Other than that, You can't take those 15-minute moon trades until you have the next level, guys. That makes sense, guys? 2-hour moon here. Gus! That makes sense? Carlos, that makes sense to you, brother?